implemented in Hungary, that all children of all ages will go through the curriculum, will learn about education that will teach them about anti-Semitism, about Holocaust, and more. The fourth thing which is important is ban of any use of anti-Semitic stereotypes in public. What we see now in our last carnival, which is not only ridiculous, it is a pure anti-Semitism. They presented last year demonstration with the entire Jewish world agreed it is very anti-Semitic. Even UNESCO, that we all know that it's not the most pro-Jewish organization, have decided to take off Alas from their list of supported carnivals. But they insisted to continue, and these days, until today, they present even worse images. It just shows us how low people could go. I was asked earlier by a journalist, it's a question that I ask many times, if I think that Holocaust can happen again. And I'm asking why not? This is the same, this is people, human being, a human being. What made human being to do something terrible in the past? What will prevent human being from doing something terrible in the future? If you can trust politicians only, well, politicians do what they think the public wants from them. If the people are anti-Semites, then the politicians will follow. We have lack of strong leaders. Leaders of today, they open the papers of the morning in order to decide what should be their opinion in the evening. We have to make sure that there is no possibility to use stereotypes, anti-Semitic stereotypes in public. And the fifth is any trade of Nazi symbols, which lately became a motivation for neo-Nazi groups. It has to be banned. I have no doubt that if those 5 things will be implemented in Europe, special envoy to combat anti-Semitism in each country, adoption and implementation on higher definition, laws that oblige all schools in all over Europe to teach what is important, ban of use of anti-Semitic stereotypes, and ban of trade of Nazi symbols, we will no doubt see a significant change in the level of anti-Semitism in Europe. And that can be done only if all of us together will collaborate. And we'll tell you how. In order to do so, we need to get to politicians, we need to get to decision makers, we need to get to members of parliament and present them the plan, explain to them the issues, and ask them to do the necessary. We are organizing delegations of members of parliaments to Auschwitz, and we invite all of you to invite members of parliament that you know. We cover all these expenses. What requires is a little bit of your time to identify the right politicians and invite them. Everything will be covered. All organizations will be taken care of. We have to bring them to Auschwitz in order to understand what might happen if they will not act. We started a project to organize the screenings of the Holocaust and run dialogues and panels after the screenings. We invite each one of you to organize these kind of screenings. All the expenses will be covered. We're not asking any of you now to have additional worries of funding. We will do all what we can to support any initiatives that can get to more and more politicians, to more and more members of parliament, and make them to implement our plan. So we invite all of you, please be leaders. You are leaders. Let's be leaders. I want to conclude with a story that some people call it a joke, but with such a serious conversation, I prefer to use my closing remarks for this. There's a story about a poor man from Ukraine that traveled to the United States right after the Holocaust. He came from a very poor family, very small village. And when he arrived to the United States, he decided, new world, new life. Here I want to be a man. Here I want to be an important, a respected person. And he was thinking, what can make me an important person? In America, no one knows me. And he remembered that in his village, one of the most important person was the Kohen of the city. The Kohen was always the one, the priest who was invited to call up to the Torah at the first time. All important events always honored the Kohen to be the first to do. So he decided that he will become a Kohen. He will tell everyone he's a Kohen, and this is how he will be respected. He bought a new suit. He arrived to the synagogue on Shabbat, and he went to the Gabbai and he says, just in case you need, I am a Kohen. He said, no problem. Time has come for the reading of the Torah. The Gabbai was asking, is there any Kohanim? Yes, we have a guest, the Kohen. The Kohen stood up, the new Kohen with the nice suit, so happy. Was invited to call up to the Torah, and everyone looked up to the Kohen. He was so excited. Finally, after years of coming from a poor family, poor village, now he's a respected person. The prayer finished. And then he sees that all the people of the synagogue are passing next to the rabbi to wish the rabbi Shabbat Shalom. So he joined, he was waiting on the line. He was on the line until his turn, and he was just in front of the rabbi. And he says, the rabbi Shabbat Shalom. And the rabbi looked at him and says, Pinchas, I'm so happy to see you. I did not know you survived. So happy to see you. You remember from the same village. Then the rabbi looked at him and said, but Pinchas, I knew very well your father. I knew very well your grandfather. I don't remember that any of them was a Kohen. So Pinchas says, Rabbi, America, it's a new life, a new time. If you can be here a rabbi, I can be here a Kohen. So, ladies and gentlemen, today was the first time that I met somebody that his name is Kohen, but he's actually a Levi. So that's what reminded me this story. But I encourage if for each one of you, let's become Kohanim, let's become Leviim, let's become rabbis, become president, become whatever you want. Whatever will give you the motivation to take a lead, just do it, and together we'll eradicate anti-Semitism. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your efforts. I'm inviting now my colleague Tal Rabina, the head of the EJA strategy, to lead the very final panel. And of course, before we will go for lunch, we will also hear the closing remarks from our host. And I want to dedicate 2 minutes to speak about our host, Joël Mergui, the president of the Consistoire of France, who deserves a lot of respect for hosting this conference. Joël Mergui, who leads the biggest Jewish community in Europe in the most difficult time, the time where the community faced huge challenge with the different terror attacks, with many people who would try to convince the French Jews to leave the country, with many people who are afraid, and Mr. Mergui will lead a community, a strong community, proud community, active community, build this huge building which show great example of confidence, of pride, and therefore hosting this conference of Jewish leaders from across the continent and diplomats. There's no important, which is more appropriate than the European Center for Judaism. We thank you so much for being an example not only for the French Jews, but for the entire European community. We'll be happy that this center will become indeed center for the entire Jewish people in Europe. As the biggest community in Europe, there's no doubt that this center should be a great center for the entire Jewish community in Europe. We should all take examples, participate in events and conferences and activities. And we thank you so much for what you do. And we wish you that Bezrat Hashem, thanks to all the great deeds that you fulfill, God should bless you with long life and good health. Lechaim tovim, arukim u'leshalom, a lot of nachat and simcha from your family. Thank you very much.
You know, when we are approaching the end of this, we are approaching the end of a very good and fruitful meal. We are talking about dessert. And for the dessert, you usually get the best components. And this is what we are trying to do now. And talking in those last 2 days about what we in Hebrew says, arvut hadadit, mutual responsibility. And of course, after hearing the story of Mr. Sandler and to see the resilience, it's just very symbolic that we conclude this convention with talks about action, mutual responsibility, and the way each and every one of us can really not only talk or impress or look at the other side, but take it upon himself the responsibility to do whatever it takes to make all our lives better. So I'm very pleased to welcome here to the stage a few of our colleagues, and I will begin with a representative from the Netherlands. I would like to welcome Mrs. Ellen van Praag. Please. Mrs. Van Praag is from the IPO, Interprovincial Chief Rabbinate, a conglomerate of 17 Jewish communities in Holland, the Medina of Holland, which is outside of the cities of Rotterdam and Hague and Amsterdam, and 4 more smaller communities. And she has a very productive proposal for us, which we are going to hear in a few minutes. From Spain, we are welcoming Mr. Fernando Rosenberg, the General Director of the Jewish community in Barcelona. From Poland, we have Mr. Edward O'Donnell from the TSKZ. From France, we have a delegate from our host. Please, welcome. A delegate from our host, Mrs. Claude Hayak from the Consistoire. And I don't know if it's still Europe, but we let you enjoy the chance. So from over the canal, we have very privileged to have Mr. Andrew Cohen, who is the president of the Federation of the Synagogues in the UK. Please join us. Please. Without further ado, because we do remember lunch is there, may I invite Mrs. Van Praag. She has an operative proposal for us all, and let's start with talking about action. Please, would you like to come here?
Good afternoon. The last topic of this conference is meant to address the national parliaments and EU institutions, as well as local councils in any form. In the past 2 days, the growing problem of anti-Semitism has become more than clear. The combat against this virulent disease is less obvious, although one denominator is clear. Something has to be done. My proposition to establish a task force of Jewish leaders across Europe can be one of these pillars. What we need are people who dare to be a leader. We need to join forces without borders in order to influence both internal, in your own country, as well as international, and team up. In my view, we don't need a committee for the sake of a committee, but be hands-on and be prepared to help each other. Luckily, we live in a time of age, where all kinds of communication is available, so contact is so much easier. Use this method and try to tie the knot between each other and this task force. I think that all countries present should appoint a member or contact in your own country, and that the task force should consist of a maximum of 7 members appointed out of these countries. Your task will be to support local communities in reaching out to local politicians, and as task force work, inform, contact, and do all the necessary to achieve this goal in this European environment. This may seem hollow words, but I pray they're not hollow. In my experience, it can be done. Andrew Cohen from the UK is testament to this building of interreligious political relationships. You will hear his words to support this shortly. Please join us in this task force. To conclude my short speech, I have a question. Actually, as a good Jewish custom, I have 2 questions. The first, have you come to enjoy yourselves? This, I'm sure, may be a side effect, but for sure you have come to make the difference. The second, please sign on the dotted line. We all need each other. Representing your country, you can join forces and make a fist, because however small in numbers, in many countries, the total number is relevant. All of a sudden, you have grown. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen. When Mr. Sandler talked to us before, he mentioned that the first 2 people you saw after you heard about the tragic was the President of the Republic and our host, Mr. Joël Marguis. And I would like to ask you, how does it work here in France? How do you help one community to another?
Je vais parler en français. Tout d'abord, je voudrais dire qu'il est un peu difficile de parler après Monsieur Sandler. Je voudrais vous dire, Monsieur Sandler, que toutes les actions, quand nous avons en tout cas une baisse d'énergie, nous pensons très fort à votre fils Jonathan, à vos petits-enfants, Arié et Gabriel. Nous pensons très fort à eux et ça nous donne de la force pour aller de l'avant. Je voulais vous le dire, ils sont présents, ils auraient pu être nos enfants et nos petits-enfants. Et c'est ce qui nous anime aussi. Alors, effectivement, au consistoire, nous sommes une institution qui couvre, qui rassemble 500 communautés, 500 synagogues réparties sur toute la France. Évidemment, ces synagogues ont une importance différente selon l'endroit où elles sont localisées. À Paris, en banlieue, en province. Et il faut arriver à harmoniser nos efforts et surtout à s'entraider. Je crois que le maître mot, c'est la solidarité. Cette solidarité, d'ailleurs, qui nous anime aujourd'hui et qu'il conviendrait de développer dans l'avenir au niveau européen. les grandes communautés, bien entendu, sont favorisées par le nombre de fidèles et également par les moyens financiers qu'elles peuvent avoir. Mais les petites communautés bénéficient en fait, et au niveau du consistoire, c'est une préoccupation d'assurer la pérennité des petites communautés, parce que nous savons très bien que là où les Juifs habitent, eh bien, il faut impérativement qu'il y ait une structure qui leur permette de vivre leur judaïsme au niveau du culte, mais pas seulement, également au niveau du lien social, ce qui était extrêmement important pour ne plus se sentir isolé. Et donc, dans cet esprit, le consistoire a développé, à l'initiative de Joël Mergui, un certain nombre d'actions, notamment la Razak, qui est un groupe de jeunes qui se déplacent dans les petites communautés, les communautés où il n'y a pas toujours le minyan. Elles se déplacent à la demande du président de la communauté et le Shabbat. Et donc, ce Shabbat-là très particulier, la communauté va voir arriver une dizaine, une vingtaine de jeunes entre 20 et 30 ans, qui vont participer au Shabbat, apporter leur dynamisme, apporter leur joie de vivre le judaïsme. Et c'est une dynamique qui est extraordinaire, qui a été implémentée il y a un certain nombre d'années et qui fonctionne extrêmement bien.
So you're talking not only helping in a case of a need or unfortunately theoretic or any other emergency, but we must keep the connection between the communities on a regular basis.
Exactement. Je crois que l'idée de Joël Mergui, du consistoire, c'est de toujours revenir aux fondamentaux. Et les fondamentaux, les piliers, c'est précisément la possibilité de vivre la vie juive. Alors bien sûr, il y a la sécurité. La sécurité est extrêmement importante. Et dans ce domaine, là aussi, le consistoire a eu une action très importante en fédérant. Parce que une chose qui est importante, c'est d'être fort. L'union fait la force, c'est ce qu'on dit. Et le consistoire a créé une structure qui s'appelle le SPCJ et qui réunit en fait toutes les demandes en matière de sécurité. Pas seulement ça, ce sont des experts qui sont présents, qui vont dans les synagogues, font des diagnostics et identifient quels sont les besoins en matière de sécurité. Bon, bien entendu, là aussi, la force du consistoire est d'avoir une écoute des pouvoirs publics, ce qui fait que, effectivement, nous avons en matière de sécurité le soutien, et en tout cas, Joël Mergui se bat pour que le soutien des pouvoirs publics soit assuré en matière de sécurité, pas seulement au moment chaud, mais également tout au long de l'année. Mais oui, on doit avoir présent à l'esprit que les Juifs vivent là où ils s'installent et qu'ils doivent pouvoir vivre leur judaïsme. Et donc, je parlais de la Razak. Je dois dire aussi que, en fait, en termes de piliers, nous avons deux piliers, la transmission, qui est extrêmement importante, mais nous avons également la relève. Nous sommes responsables de la suite, de préparer des leaders, de jeunes leaders, et nous devons maintenant nous préoccuper de cette génération montante pour être assurés que la relève sera bien en place au moment opportun. Dans cet esprit, là aussi, je voudrais faire part d'une expérience qui est celle de séminaires organisés par le consistoire à l'intention de jeunes leaders, de manière à les préparer à assurer cette relève. Et pas seulement. Ces séminaires sont également en direction des présidents de communautés. Ce que je veux dire, c'est que, d'une manière générale, nous sommes responsables. Nous sommes responsables de l'avenir de la communauté juive de France. Au niveau européen, la communauté juive de France est la communauté la plus importante en Europe. Et ce que nous faisons au niveau de la France, c'est-à-dire cette espèce de solidarité, ce qu'il serait bon, c'est effectivement de développer une solidarité au niveau européen. On a bien vu pendant ces 2 jours que nous avons les mêmes problématiques. Nous travaillons de façon peut-être un peu isolée. L'Angleterre, la Hollande, la Belgique, l'Espagne. Mais finalement, nous avons tous des problématiques communes. Nous avons tous mis en place des solutions, chacun de notre côté. Il serait évidemment souhaitable que nous puissions créer des échanges nourris de façon à partager nos expériences et mettre en œuvre toutes les synergies, toute l'énergie